Uh, but points were made, and I understand what he was saying. But at the same time, you're too. I don't even know what the word is. You're trying to put emphasis. You was trying to put emphasis on the head coaching part, but let's just say he's correct, which he isn't. Like, what about Ben Johnson this past year? Like, were they not excited? The Chicago Bears, were they not excited about Ben Johnson because he was never a head coach? Like, our beloved Ravens, John Harbaugh wasn't a head coach. Mike Tomlin wasn't a head coach. Like, at some point, you have to be a coordinator and then who becomes a head coach. And like, I'm, I think I'm more of a, okay, I would rather hire an unproven guy, which is okay, he's unproven because he hasn't been a head coach, than keep hiring a Mike McCarthy, a retread, a
Retread.
head coach retread. Like, not to say like McCarthy, he's done well at places, but he's fired for a reason. So you're just hiring retread just because he has head coach experience. So, and this is not me saying Todd Monken is going to be great. I don't know. But for him to say, okay, first off, Shador was a fifth round pick. For him to say, Shador, fifth round pick, hey, I'm not going to listen to you because you've never done it. That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, okay, what about everybody else in the locker room? Are they not supposed to listen to their head guy because he's never been a head coach when he's clearly been successful? And let's back it up. If you're saying in the same breath he said, if I'm Shadur Sanders, I wouldn't be excited. Yes, Todd Monken won 2 national championships. Stetson Bennett. Yes, he won. Well, he didn't win, but Lamar Jackson was the MVP. Should have had a second MVP last year. You're saying as a head coach, but you're also pointing out 4 of the best seasons that a quarterback can have. So, if anything, Shador should definitely be excited, you know, because he's clearly a good to great, he's a great play designer. He gets away from the run too quick sometimes, but the man can call offense.
Awesome
Like,
play.
my only gripe with Todd Monken was during the postseason, he gets too cute.
Yeah.
He draws it up now.
Yeah.
I love the run game. He just abandons it too quick. But yeah, this is just crazy, man. I've never, especially coming from a former football player, not just any football player. He didn't do well in the league. He was still a 6th round pick. Like, Emmanuel Acho, like, you have enough football knowledge and you've played enough football on the high level to not say this foolishness.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me.
Like it's just it shows you how much of a clown he is and how many clown shows about football there are out there. Like, for you to say something like this, like, I think you said this before we got on the air, like, guys just get too caught up trying to be entertaining. And I think there's a balance. Like, like you know me in real life. So sometimes when we press this mic, I get hyperbolic and theatrical because like we need you need parts of that. We're not ignoring the need to have clips and get the algorithm going, right? Like, sometimes I'd be on here being extra and all that other stuff in ways I'm not normally. But like, for the most part, we try to have a conversation about football, which to us is something that's sacred, right? That is more than just something we sit back and watch and pity patty with. For somebody who played the game at the highest level, no matter how short his NFL career, to say something like that, it almost like we need gatekeepers back. That's what we need.
Yeah, man.
Like, it don't got to be the old legacy media system, but like the extent to which we just allow anybody who played this game to say anything about the game, like, we've lost the plot. Because not only is it just like disrespectful, it's also like not accurate. Now, Todd Monken has never been an NFL head coach. He has been a head coach in college football. I would say a pretty darn good head coach. He spent 3 years at Southern Miss, right? And I think the first year it went 1-11. It was a terrible year. And then after that, 3-9. But I remember that last year at Southern Miss, they went 9-5. Now, one of my good homies went to Southern Miss. I know a couple of people that just went there in general. That is not a program that was or is oozing in financial resources and backing with great facilities, right? Like, to go 9-5 there, and win your conference was a heck of an accomplishment. After that, he could have stayed there. I'm sure he could have found a Power 5 job or Power 4, what it is now, whatever. But he chose to take his talents to the NFL. Went to go be Tampa Bay's offensive coordinator. This is like, I'm not going to sit here and say I love the hire. But one, it's disrespect for him to say that. Two, it's just flat out wrong. Three, what is with this nonsense in terms of he hasn't won anything? There's only one thing to win in the NFL, and that is a Lombardi trophy. And they only get one of those out per year. All right. I don't know who needs to hear this. Bad coordinators are not making it to the championship game of a respective conference. Like, I'm not saying every coach is a good coach who coaches in a conference title game. I do know bad coaches don't make it there. And we just got to stop that. And then lastly, you mentioned this. He coordinated what is perhaps the greatest quarterbacking season in the history of football. I know we don't want to say that because we don't want to say that about Lamar Jackson. It's fine. But if you watched it and from an expected EPA and an actual EPA standpoint, and just the way he was moving, juking and jiving in and out of the pocket, making spectacular plays, there are so many memories and highlights etched into every football fan's brains of that season he had. From the pulling up the pants.
Just watching Houston highlights.
Just watch the Houston highlights, right? From the pulling up the pants and directing traffic downfield. Like, if I'm Shador, I'm excited about, we did that with the quarterback who doesn't have a similar skill set. That's disrespectful to Lamar Jackson. But, you know, who can adapt and maybe try to adopt some of those skill sets he has. I'm excited. It's just flat out tomfoolery. We got to take the mic away from these bums, man.
It's crazy, man. The fact that he kept putting so much emphasis on Shador shouldn't be excited. That's the person that should be excited. Now, if you said the Browns fans, cool. Still, you probably, you're wrong because you got to let the guy prove himself. But from an offensive standpoint, I don't know if he's going to call the plays or whatever. He'll be involved if he isn't the primary play caller anyway. But, like, if I'm on that offense, which Cleveland has never had a problem with defense. If I'm on that offense, I'm excited. I just got to get more dudes in the building and give Shador an entire offseason, assuming that, they want him to be the starter. We don't know. Nasty Man is coming back from injury. I don't know if he's going to be ready.
That man is done. Come on.
Who knows? I don't know, bro. They're still paying the man, so they might want to they might be forced to pay him. I don't know. Play him. So I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's a crazy take. I'm sick of the take culture. I blame Skip Bayless for this. And then I blame, his pupil and Stephen A. Stephen A is just loud. And then it's just certain guys, you can tell they're entertainers, but they still have you know what? This is my niche. I'm going to be, slightly entertaining, but I'm going to know what I'm talking about. It's not just take culture. I got to have a hot take on everything. Just talk ball.
That's it.
Give your opinion. Hey, I think this team is going to win because of, because XYZ. Hey, I think this team is losing because of XYZ. And that's it. Like, I promise you, y'all will still have fans. I promise you.
Man, it's enough people out here who want good football talk. Now, I do think there's a world. This is kind of diving off course, but I do think there is a world, and there's a growing world to where there's too much nerddom in football talk. Like, I don't want your over analytics. I don't want, I cite DVOA, EPA, all that other stuff all the time. We both do. There's an element of it, but sometimes I just want to hear about sort of what you've seen in the tape or how you looked at that body.
That's it. That's
it.
So I love NFL Live. I will watch NFL Live and I will keep watching NFL Live because they talk ball. I used to love. What's the show? They kept pushing it back. It was like early in the morning. It was NFL matchup.
Yeah,
I love
that was
NFL matchup. I love NFL matchup because it was just ball, man.
Wow.
You're telling how this receiver got open, how the quarterback manipulated the safety. Like, I want to see that.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you can have your, hey, I think these are the top 10. These are my power rankings. Cool. Let that be your debate section.
Right.
I don't want to hear is so and so elite, or, should so and so be traded? Is this game a legacy game? Come on, bro. They're just playing ball.
Yeah. 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 I mean,
That's it, man.
I get it, man. I guess some folks got big wigs they have to
Yeah.
I guess report to, but not enough ball watching, not enough ball talking. And you can tell these folks don't actually be watching football. That's the
They
other
don't,
thing.
bro. They don't.
Huh.
They watch for entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah. But in terms of trying to understand the game and how fluidity and how this play call on 2nd and 7 in the first quarter set up the big play on, 2nd and 6 in the fourth quarter, it's just, it ain't a whole lot of cats out here doing that.
Yeah.
So moral of the story, unsubscribe and don't like Speakeasy and Emmanuel Acho, but take the moment and subscribe for our channel and like this video.
For sure.
Otherwise, I'm inclined to think you are a hater. And I did steal that from one line. I'm not gonna lie. But the sentiment is the same. Let's circle back. We're gonna circle back to head coaching hires in a minute, but real quick, we got to get this championship weekend recap out of here, which I'm sure many of you think is old news, but it's not. You know why? Because I said so. I think the AFC title game might be the worst NFL playoff game I've ever seen.
It's up there, bro. And I kind of, we'll preview next week, but I kind of expected, not like bad, but I was expecting like 13-10, like something very similar. And the crazy part is Sean Payton kicks a field goal, who knows what happens. Like, I get it. It wasn't, what were they, 4th and 1? Like, 1 yard is hard to get when everybody knows. And before the play started, in my mind, I'm on the couch and I'm just watching the game play. And I'm like, there's no way they're running this ball. So I don't know why they get in this condensed formation. Like, they're not going to run this ball.
They can't run.
Nobody's going to be fooled.
Yeah.
And the Patriots are just too well coached. If I'm spreading, I'm getting them 4 wide. So you have options. Now you got a scramble option. At the very least, you only need a yard. All right, run everybody, run everybody to the sticks. Maybe have a hot route by the back. So now you have 5. All right, you can't spy. If you have everybody going out for a route, that's kind of tough. So I was thinking that, but that would have probably ended in a 10-10 regular in regulation, and who knows what happens after that. Because Drake May, I don't see it.
Boo-boo.
Boo-boo. And it's been like
in
that
all 3 playoff
the
games.
entire postseason.
Yeah.
In the entire postseason. So they're not winning because of him. They're not losing in spite of him. I saw a tweet. I think he was 10 for 31, 10 for 21, something. It was terrible.
Something crazy.
They said, but he didn't have any turnovers, and that's all CJ Stroud had to do, and they would have won.
I told you, man.
Bro, he was under 40% passing, but no turnovers. If CJ Stroud has 0 turnovers, they beat Denver.
And they're playing.
There's no doubt in my mind they beat Denver.
Yeah. 100%.
So yeah, that was a terrible game, man. But I mean, we kind of knew that coming in. We called the NFC winner. We said they were gonna be the Super Bowl favorites. That was gonna be the Super Bowl of the title weekend. So yeah, we knew. But I was thinking low score. I wasn't thinking bad football. That looked like bad football.
Man, that game was absolutely terrible. And so I'm like, there ain't a whole lot to say about it, but we talk about football, so we got to talk about it before we talk about the actual game, the varsity game, which was Seattle and the Rams. 2 things stuck out to me. One, and this is not revisionist history, going forward on 4th and 1, and that was a long one too. This, there are variations in 4th and 1. That wasn't that wasn't a short than 1. It wasn't a 4th and inches. It was 4th and a long one against the defense who, is one, sort of well prepared. Excuse me. Two, Denver couldn't run the football. Haven't been able to run the football for
Nope.
quite some time. So, like you said, you don't have to honor that. And you got a guy who
Nope.
hasn't taken a snap in the regular season all year. And so I think, like, well, you can talk more about this. Sean Payton doesn't take enough responsibility for this loss. The reason why I picked Denver, even knowing that Jarrett Stidham was going to start, is because I just expected more from Sean Payton. I thought he would put him in better
Yeah.
situations. I
Same.
thought that he would be smart enough to take whatever points you had. I thought knew he would have to take those points. It's even more egregious to me because in hindsight, we know that you watched Drake May be terrible, but not turn the football over in the weeks preceding. And nonetheless, you went out there, you did not take the points, and you did not necessarily always put yourself in the position for your backup quarterback who hasn't played much to be successful. It stands in direct contrast to what Mike Vrabel did with Drake May. Towards the end of that game, he and Josh McDaniels were literally calling plays to throw it away. Why? Because we know that those guys over there cannot score. Okay?
Yep.
They don't have one of their top wideout targets. They cannot run the football, and their quarterback who can actually make throws is not back there. So two things are really terrible. One is going for it on fourth down, not taking the points as we talked about. The other is the ridiculous play call to where Jarrett Stidham just loses all of his faculties, forgets everything about the sport of football, and just tries to throw it like he's a 2-year-old throwing a candy basket on Easter Sunday. And I want to blame Jarrett Stidham for that, but I'm going to blame Sean Payton. Because in anything going into that week, and he calls the plays. I'm about to forget all.
Yeah.
You got to go into that week.
He calls the plays.
We talked about this. There's not going to be a lot of points scored here. So when you get into a long situation, anything, I mean, second in anything greater than 10, with the defense that I have at home, you got to know, all right, we're conceding this. Here we go. Nice little handoff, little quarterback drive. If it's not there, go down.
Yeah.
Don't even try to throw it away. Don't even try to throw it away. Just go down, right? Like, you got a game plan against that. Like, you had a week to get this guy ready. And I don't know necessarily the machinations. Look, I'm not in Jarrett Stidham's element when he does that. But calling the pass play in that situation is on the person who calls the plays. You got a guy who has not played in 2 years. He did not take 2 regular season snaps. You got a great defense. You're at home, and you're playing an inept quarterback on the other side. That's Sean Payton's fault. And so for him to go out here and fire the offensive coordinator, first of all, how do you fire the offensive coordinator who doesn't call plays?
He's been with you forever. So I don't know, like, what, I don't know. That, I think the receivers coach, the cornerbacks coach, like, I'm not understanding. Now the receivers coach, I don't know what's up with Sutton, but he was dropping a lot of passes, man.
I mean, right here.
Like, yeah, Denver was close to losing the game prior just because of him. Like, he dropped some, and I hate when the commentators during the game are like, that was a tough catch. Bro, I don't care how stretched out you are. If that ball comes right here, you got to catch that.
That's
You're NFL wideout.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Like, a diving catch is a tough catch. Diving catch, you got to cradle it. It might pop out at the end. That's a tough catch. A contested fade ball, tough catch. Going across the middle and you're wide open and you have to stretch out, that's not a tough catch. Not by NFL standards. So, but yeah, it has to be on Payton just because everything you said. Like, both teams should have had the same game plan.
Yeah.
Vrabel was like, you know what? I don't care if it's second, if it's 2nd and 7, we got to run this ball.
That's it.
We get in 3rd and manageable, and we might run it again because we're going to get a good punt, flip the field, and let me see the backup quarterback do work because we don't have to win it. We just have to not lose. Now, next week, they can't play like that. That's where, good coaches adjust.
Yeah.
But this game was the game the week before, like, bad weather, all of that is like, hey, man, like, this is our game plan because we know what we're up against. This is how we got to, this is what we got to do. But that's on the coach, man. Because who knows what sucks about this is, and I'm not a Broncos fan. You just don't know when you're gonna get
Just
back.
about to say that.
You got those 4 guys. Well, they beat Buffalo, but you still got those 4 quarterbacks who are always gonna be favorites over everybody else in the AFC. So this was your shot.
That was a chance.
Patriots, same thing. Like, do we really feel like Drake May is that good? Like, we don't know yet because we're seeing now that how they talked about they didn't beat many teams or any teams with a winning record. Like, we're seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you played some tough defenses and you're getting bailed out by bad quarterback play on the opposite side,
Mm-hmm.
not because you're playing well. So they're winning in spite of you. You can't win a Super Bowl in spite of a quarterback unless you have, 2000, the Ravens defense, 85 Bears, unless you have those type of defenses. Patriots defense is really good,
So
but they're not on that level. They're a solid defense, but unless you have a crazy defense, you're gonna need a quarterback to make some throws and make some plays with his leg.
yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm hiding the ball here in that, they have their work cut out for them in Super Bowl 60. I will put it that way.
The spread is only about 4.5.
That is ridiculous. When we do this next week, I am almost certain it will
I'm ready to talk about it, but we're gonna save it.
it will double. And if it hasn't doubled by then, it should. So that's me not doing a good job of hiding the ball on where our Super Bowl 60 conversation is going next week. I don't know if this is by EPA the worst set of quarterbacking play that a team who's gotten to the Super Bowl has ever played against. I know with my eyes it's the worst quarterbacking play that any team has ever played against to get to the Super Bowl. And I'm like that person. Like I look up and I have a playlist on YouTube of every Super Bowl and postseason game that I can find in full. And I'll go through and watch them joints, fall asleep to. I'm like, I ain't seen nothing as terrible as New England has had the luxury of overcoming. Now Justin Herbert was a little bit different. That offensive line just couldn't stop a nosebleed at that point without their 2 tackles. So we'll give them that. But the luck has been there. It's the most Patriots thing ever to take advantage of the year where the legacy quarterbacks in your conference are not in the post.
Oh my God. Why did it have to be them?
The most Patriot thing ever. It's totally fine. And I hate it. It's fine. I think most people hate it. Totally cool. Denver's gonna rue this in the same way that Houston is gonna rue this, in the same way that Jacksonville's gonna rue this. These are types of things that we are going to talk about a decade from now. These fan bases are gonna look back and be like, that was our shot. And that's kind of the sad thing. One thing though, I had a lot of respect and appreciation for Sean Payton. I think he's still a great coach and so on and so forth. Missed the mark here. Mike Vrabel team is always going to be well coached, not going to make mistakes, be well prepared. That's worked for them getting to this point. I don't know how successful that's going to be going into Santa Clara. He can't suddenly go out and add playmakers and make his quarterback a little bit more wide-eyed in the process. What we are seeing from Drake May is a thing that you and I talk about all the time. Not only are you seeing the adjustment that always happens in the NFL, but you're seeing the adjustment from playoff teams and playoff caliber coaches that happens here as well. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'm not saying you got to be a good coach to coach in a divisional round of the championship, but bad coaches
and be a bad one.
Bad coaches ain't coaching in the divisional championship round. There ain't no bad coaches that have never coached in the Super Bowl. They ain't all great. They ain't all Bill Walsh and Mike McDonald. I'm not putting them together, but I just wanted to do that. But they ain't bad. And so that's going to be an interesting thing to look at. I will say, and then I won't hide the ball. I mean, I'll sort of move on from the championship game, the AFC title game, which was absolutely terrible. It is going to be interesting because the thing that New England absolutely cannot do, which is pass protect, is the thing that Seattle wreaks havoc on. I don't know about you, but every time I have seen a team that cannot protect their quarterback play a team that can get after the other team's quarterback, it's always been lopsided.
Last year, in recent history, literally the Chiefs twice
Twice.
against the Bucks and against Philly last year.
It is the equalizing factor. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
how good your signal caller is. If you paint,
And that's why I thought, this doesn't matter now. That's why I thought Philly still had a shot. At the end of the day, they got the dudes to rush the passer. They can figure it out, but that's like if a team has pass rushers, they have a shot.
yeah,
Like I knew, and we can move on to like the NFC title game. Like I knew Seattle could wreak havoc against LA, but I trusted that Stafford basically was going to make more plays. And I knew Sam Darnold was going to play well because he's played well against them. Well, he had a bad, he had a bad first game, but the yardage was always there. And the Rams haven't stopped. Man, it's like their defense took a dive
yeah.
second half of the season. Like Stafford was hot. And what's crazy, like I know you're not on X, Twitter, whatever. Like I said, I'm a clip guy. I don't watch any of these shows. I like Mina Kimes.
I do too. He does.
And because she talks ball. So the fourth the last play where they didn't get it and he was forced to throw it to the tight end. DeMarcus Lawrence, the DN, he said he saw, I think it was Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams that was the read. That was the number one read. It would have been open based on the defense they were running. So you can see, in NFL films, they showed the both coaches. McVay was about to call a timeout, and Mike McDonald was like, "Oh man, we in the wrong play call." At the same time, it's a real cool video. So McVay decides not to call the timeout. The play runs. Kyron Williams comes out the backfield so fast, he would have been uncovered. DeMarcus Lawrence, I saw his clip today, speaking to the reporters. He said because he came out so fast, he's seen enough football where he thought, oh, that's not my read, but like that running back is coming out the backfield too fast. I know that's his number one option, and it was covered. And if you go back and look at the play, you can see Stafford staring it down, but he had to get off of it. Like it would have been wide open. So the play design was there, the right play call was there, but you got a smart football veteran, and he just kind of improvised and made a play. And that's saying a chess match. The chess match. That's what I love about football. Like these guys play so much ball. That's why it's so great to have a good quarterback. Good quarterback, especially good quarterback and play caller connection. Like McVay and Stafford have a great connection.
Yeah.
That play didn't work out for him this season didn't work out for him. But when you have that duo, that play caller quarterback duo, where you can do some things. Like we mentioned, like I thought the Rams were going to win. You picked Seattle, but obviously not surprised Seattle won.
Yeah.
They were at home, division rivals. It was a toss-up game, literally. And it came down literally to the end of the game. So shout out to them, man. Like I want to see, my boy. I'm gonna say my boy Mike McDonald. Get it?
Yeah, man.
So I have I'm gonna have more hope in Jesse Minter because they went through the same process literally.
Yeah, we got affinity for Mike McDonald as Ray fans.
Yeah.
So, should have kept him in the building. I get it. You can't fire your coach after you go 13-4
You can't.
and get to the AFC title game. By EPA standards, I think I read this somewhere. The NFC title game was the best sort of conference championship matchup ever. I'm not going there. And this is why I look at data. I love DVOA and EPA, and it is sort of a supplementary part of the conversation. Never at any point this year, though, that I look at either the Rams or Seahawks, I'm like, oh, that's one of the best teams I've ever seen. Like, relax, right? Like,
no,
and that's the
good
thing.
team, but not best you've ever seen.
Right. Good team, quality team. One of them probably likely going to win the Super Bowl. And this is why, like, even the data, and this is one of the things you got to kind of always sort of match up with it. The data is relative to the year that the data is being compiled. This was just a weird year in the NFL. Good year, competitive year, right? But no dominant teams. And so, of course, it can seem like it's one of the best matchups ever because of just the quirkiness and uniqueness of the year. Like I said, I don't think either one of those teams like one of the best teams we've ever seen. But they gave us a compelling matchup, which is great immediately after the slop fest that was the
A
AFC.
dud. Yeah.
Just absolutely terrible. I gotta eat my words on Sam Darnold. All right, so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, you gotta eat your words, bro. But I mean, I think your point was you have to see it. Like like I've never called him a bad quarterback because any quarterback who plays for the Jets, you just gotta eliminate that part of their career.
Right.
You just gotta throw it out. It's a wash.
Yeah.
It's a wash. And all we had to go back on is, those last 2 games last season.
Yeah.
So, in everyone's mind, we like, oh, we don't know. Is he gonna revert? Is he gonna revert? We don't know. So we get human nature, we're gonna have that in the back of our minds. But man, he's with an oblique injury too. Like, I think we don't give Sam Darnold enough credit for his talent in general.
We don't.
Like,
I'm weak.
Pound for pound, if you're just listing quarterback talent, he can make every throw.
He up there.
He up there, man. Like, he's up there. But he got drafted by the Jets. That's it. He got drafted by the Jets. Say if he got drafted by the 49ers. Like, they have their quarterback for 20 years.
Yeah, man.
Shanahan would never leave. Would never leave.
That's the great
point.
It
would be scary. So where you get drafted matters, and I know this is not the topic, but where you get drafted matters. Like, people pick top 5 for a reason. They're bad. They're a bad football team. Now, bad football team and bad organizations is different.
Yes.
Jets are both.
Yes.
Like, you can have a terrible year. Okay, now let's reset. It shouldn't take you shouldn't be resetting every 3 or 4 years, which the Jets do.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that run Baltimore had 2 to 3, 2.5, 3 years, but you saw the reset.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that was due to injuries and, things like that, but, salary cap, but you shouldn't have a reset, a hard reset every 3 to 4 years.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, man, Darnold shocked us, man. Darnold shocked us this year. We knew he had the arm talent, but, we've been waiting for the downfall. That better not happen in the Super Bowl.
Hey, man, you are representing an entire people in the Super Bowl next Sunday. All right, you do not get to pick next Sunday to be your clunker. Okay, I am here listening.
I don't think it will, though.
I don't think it will. What Sam Richard Darnold? All right. I was wrong. Okay. I said I didn't trust. I've been saying this all year too.
All year. You've been like, oh, Seattle is good. I don't trust Darnold.
I've been saying it all year. I'm wrong. I was wrong. Ain't no other way around it. That boy Darnold balling, he had a fantastic year. I mean, think about it. We actually don't even see a lot of guys throw for 4,000 yards anymore because as you know, defenses have caught up. We had that little stretch the last decade to where, it seemed like everybody and their mama was plucking out 4,500 yard seasons. It's funny when you give these psychopaths who do nothing but think about football 20 hours a day for 11 and a half months time to adjust, what they'll do. 2 consecutive 4,000 yard passing seasons. Now he threw 14 interceptions this year to 25 touchdowns. 4 of those in that one game against the Rams.
I was about to say, yeah.
And so if you kind of take that away, which I don't normally do, like people are like, oh, well, that was a big game. Sure, but still 25 to 10 other than that. But I think it just has been like smarter with the football. And then some of the throws he made in the NFC title game were just on the money. And then the mechanics of it, like the way in which he sort of gets the defense to roll out with him and look off the safeties and then throws it back.
That's what I look at.
Wide open in the end zone, right? Like that's quarterback play. That was the epitome of like, I'm wrong, right? Like it was never a matter of him being able to make the throws or having the physical tools. I didn't have an expectation that when it mattered in a game like that, situations like that,
to be able to deliver.
To be able to deliver to that extent. Like that's immaculate quarterback play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I eat my words on that. Sam Darnold got it. We're going to the Super Bowl.
Hey, man.
I can admit when I'm wrong.
Hey, I admit when I'm wrong. So listen, I can admit when I'm wrong. So it is what it is.
Hey, you better not let us down next week, though. We trusting in you. We are all Sam Darnold. Okay.
Yep.
You want to talk about some of these coaching hires, man? Actually, as a matter of fact, no. How about that? We got to reverse. We got to back up a little bit because while we're talking about the New England Patriots, their superstar head coach, who is dating a 29-year-old now at the University of North Carolina,
something like that.
Hey, more power to him. If you like it, I love it. Bill Belichick did not get in to the Hall of Fame on his first ballot. And then there's more drama because allegedly, according to Seth Wickersham, who I think is a great reporter, if you haven't read any of his books, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's Better to Be Feared is one of his better books, in my opinion. It's about the New England Patriots dynasty, blah, 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 blah. I don't get no kickback from that. Seth Wickersham reported that Bill Polian, longtime executive Giants with the Buffalo Bills, architected those Buffalo Bills teams that went to 4 straight Super Bowls. The last time they went to the Super Bowl, by the way, yeah, I'm taking a shot. Basically said, hey, we shouldn't let Belichick into the Hall of Fame this year as punishment for Spygate. And so now, is this place becoming Springfield? And
please, it can't. It can't. And the Basketball Hall of, first off, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. There's no NBA Hall of Fame.
Right.
So that's crazy in
it's
itself.
A big difference.
But it is a big difference. And it's a joke because the Hall of Fame, I always thought, okay, for one, if you're a first ballot Hall of Fame, were you one of the top 3? I don't even want to say 5. Top 3 at your position in your era at some point for not just 1 or 2 years.
Right.
I'm talking about, like a span 5, 6, 7 years where you consider a top 3 player at your position. And if you have to think about that, then you're not a first ballot. Maybe you are a Hall of Famer, but you're not first ballot.
Mm-hmm.
So like T.O., come on.
Egregious.
It's egregious.
Well,
now you can say T.O., okay. Now you go to Chad Ochocinco. Clearly he's not. He had some great years, but he didn't have what T.O. had. I'm not comparing the two. I'm just I'm just giving you the differences in a Hall of Fame player and a very good NFL player. But it's just levels. Bill Belichick was the best coach of his era. And for one, I don't like the whole notion of, that's I'm gonna bring some law here, like double jeopardy.
Yeah.
I'm getting charged again for a crime I committed and was punished for. He was punished for Spygate and Deflategate, or they were punished during their time, but you're punishing me again after I'm done?
Let it go.
Just to spite me? Let it go. And for one, okay, Spygate, I understand it's against the rules. Players still got to play, man.
Yeah, man.
I go back to that. Players still got to play. They probably were stealing signals, but all of that stuff. But the end of the day, you mean to tell me, okay, I know a play. I think I know what call they're going to make, but I got to communicate that with all 11 people, and they still have to be on the same page. They still have to stop it. So I don't even put too much stock in it. You cheated, get punished, cool. They probably still would have won the game. Oh, in 2007, they didn't even win that Super Bowl.
No.
The Giants did.
Yeah.
Then Deflategate, who cares about a deflated football? Can you stop the offense? Bro, in practice, DB coaches always think they're the best quarterbacks. I keep my own football for my group.
Yeah.
And it's a little deflated.
Yeah.
Because, I got to get, I understand because you do have a slightly better grip. That has nothing to do with scheme. how we call plays, how the receiver has to catch the ball, how the receiver beat the DB, how the running back, got through the hole. It has nothing to do with it. I never saw the big deal. Like, you telling me, I don't know what cheating you can do from a coaching standpoint that says, okay, we got to take back a win or a loss.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, the players still got to play on the field. But yeah, this is crazy, man.
Yeah, man. I think it's wild. Look, I'm no fan of Bill Belichick. I'm no fan of the New England Patriots. I think that's pretty clear. But for this man to not be in the Hall of Fame is egregious. One, for him to not be a first ballot Hall of Famer based off some petty high school
Yeah.
clique drama is insane. Now, will he get in? Sure, right?
Yeah.
He will. But for him to not be a first ballot Hall of Famer is egregious for two reasons. One is people are always like, oh, well, was it him or was it Brady? I contend it was both. And there are,
Yeah.
lots of things that we could talk about and bring into that conversation to make that case. That could be an entire episode in and of itself. So I'll go two things. One was his tenure in Cleveland from, I think, 91 to 95, to where he took Cleveland to the postseason. I think they might have gotten to the AFC title game, if I'm not mistaken. And then have one of those heartbreakers. Nick Saban was his defensive coordinator, so on and so forth. Cleveland had been through some really rough years before then, came in, turned them around, and then finally was just like, all right, I'm out. Let me go figure something out. I think he actually got fired. But if you're looking at a case to be like, oh, well, I don't know if he was a great coach without Tom Brady, you can look at his Cleveland years. Maybe the record didn't match up with it. But from a steam perspective, from some of the
Cleveland, though.
is Cleveland. They've been bad for a minute. So there's that, number one. And number two, and this is a much deeper conversation that I think we need to be willing to have as football people. We give Tom Brady way too much credit for those first 3 Super Bowls. Way too much.
Right. Yes. Yes.
I mean, to the point to where you go back and you watch some of those games, look at some of the data and analytics. He was not a top performing player in those postseasons or in those Super Bowls. He might have made some clutch throws and plays, and I think that's fine. And I think being able to sort of regulate your emotions and settle down enough to make clutch plays is different from being the greatest of all time. I'm not here to argue about greatest of all time and all that other stuff. I'm just saying that for those first 3 Super Bowls, we give Tom Brady way too much credit. And I think Belichick needs more credit for roster construction, for the defense that they were able to put out on the field, for the way he schemed in and out of those games and were able to put Brady in position to be successful. On the back end of that,
Yeah, and it's just we don't talk about that because we just look at the amount of rings and we forget about those first 3. Maybe like the third one, that's when he's a little bit more seasoned. He played a little bit better, but he did lead the drives, which led to those kicks to win those Super Bowls. But he wasn't great. Like, we talk about the best show on turf got shut down. We don't say Tom Brady defeated them. We don't say that. Like, the man was a defensive mastermind. I was just watching the Malcolm Butler when he intercepted the pass. Pete Carroll, you should have 2. You're stupid. But that was a stupid play call. I'm sorry. He's not stupid. But they showed the clip again. NFL Films, love it. He was talking about how much. That's when Brian Flores was his DC. They talked about how they repped it, and Malcolm would never get over, never get over the pick.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, they hadn't practiced goal line with 3 corners all season long. But no, they've practiced it. They haven't put it in, or they hadn't used it in the game. And that was the time that they used it in the game. They said when the receivers stack up, Malcolm, just go. And he did it. That's those things aren't talked about. That's why you always have to say it's a collaborative effort. Both of them are Hall of Fame worthy
100%.
player coach because of each other. It's not in spite of the other. Granted, he made his mark on defense, but we forget about the roster construction. He's the GM. He was the GM. Later on, in his tenure, he kind of was relying on Tom Brady too much because he was tripping with some
Really bad drafts later on.
really bad draft. So yeah, later on, like it was kind of obvious that he was like, you know what, I'm trying to win my way in spite of Tom Brady. It was an ego thing.
Oh yeah.
It was the ego thing. But yeah, man, like both of them deserve their credit, but there's no way. That's like saying Tom Brady isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that because Tom Brady was always great with the media. You know, he was always going to say the right thing. Bill Belichick, smug. He's just going to, hey, I'm here to coach football. Like, that's who he is. And I think that is the real reason why he's left off. Not just the Flakegate, Spygate.
Yeah. He didn't do himself any favors either, I think, by not appearing.
It shouldn't matter, bro.
It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
It's football.
Right? It's football. And they give Hall voters explicit sort of instructions, the same way a judge tells a jury not to, take into account stricken testimony or overrule or whatever. Yeah. They give the Hall very explicit instructions not to consider things outside of football, which one, you could say, okay, well, this is a part of football because he cheated in football.
It is.
And I'm like, look, I'm like you. I don't care about Deflategate or Spygate. I didn't at the time. I don't now, which is a weird thing for me to say because I am a certified Patriot hater. Like I hate New England Patriots. Don't root for them. Yeah. But like I've never cared about, oh, y'all cheaters, y'all deflated balls. And like, no, it's just, I don't know. Maybe that's just the football in me of just like knowing, hey, you still got to go out here, execute, scheme, so on and so forth. Yeah. But like, I've never been one to be like, oh, well, y'all are cheaters. No, y'all are great franchise, and I just don't like you. And to me, that is more of an argument as to how egregious this is and why he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. When you can have that as your aura, like people who love football, fans of rival teams, like, I hate you. I hate your guts. I hate your team and your franchise and your city. And yet you are one of the best to ever do it, which makes like Bill Polian being a little childhood bum all the more crazy. And it seemed like, bro, why are you in your darn near 80s and you still salty about Belichick being able to just run ravage for the most part over your team? Because remember, Polian, you'll know this, was the architect of those coach teams as well, which just all but one time couldn't get over that Patriot hump. And I would say, to close it out, for the rest of the voters in that room, I don't know if anyone pushed back, or I know Bill Polian holds a lot of sway in there, and rightfully so. But there had to be another grown man in there to speak up and say, Bill, maybe you are not the person who should carry this message. Because we went and changed the whole rules on defense because your golden boy and your franchise couldn't beat the New England Patriots. So we did that, and you still couldn't beat them. But I'm shocked there wasn't somebody in the room to be able to stand up and be like, maybe you're not the person to carry this message here because you still got some feelings about how they just kept whooping you in the AFC Championship. But that's just
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And also to wrap it up, like, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2007 and 2012, right? Both of those incidents.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't win either year.
No.
So what are we talking about?
No.
Like, it doesn't even matter.
Nuts, man. Nuts. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, speaking of head coaches, I think we got most of the, first of all, what was it, quarter of the NFL changed head coaches this year?
I think so.
Which is ridiculous. But it's kind of like one of the things just changing for change's sake. You know how, like, if you're a married guy out there, and I have to do this because, I don't know if it's the case. I just know my experience because I'm a man who dates and likes women. You know how you married and your wife goes out and finds a cute little like mirror or a nightstand or something, and you already got 5 mirrors and 4 nightstands and 6 lamps, and they all work immaculately. But she's seen something cute at Home Goods, or at home, or Crate and Barrel, and she just had to get it. And she don't know where it's going. She don't know where it's fitting in the house, but it's coming
It
home.
doesn't matter.
And you're gonna have to put it together. That's just like change for change's sake. That's what most of these teams in the NFL did this offseason. Like, is there anybody who's happy with their head coaching hire?
Man, I feel like I do feel like Baltimore is, and I'm not just saying that, you know, just because, that's my team. I do feel like they're comfortable with their hire. I feel like Cleveland is like, oh, I guess it's the best guy that was left. we'll get a we'll get a grown man in the building. I don't know. Um, Pittsburgh is like, you know what? We don't want to draw this out too long. You know what? That guy grew up
He's
rooting for
from
us.
here.
Let's pick him. He's from here. Let's pick him. He has head coaching experience. We don't want a new hot shot guy, even though that's all they've ever, appointed at head coach. So like it's, Tennessee, Robert, you really want this? Let's just give it
Just
to
give
you.
it to
Man, let's just give it to you. You've done it again. You've done it before. We'll give it to you. We know the defense will probably be good, but Jets, like I said, that doesn't count. Yeah, man, it's a weird offseason. Buffalo is like, you know what? I'm gonna fire you because you didn't live up to expectations. I'm gonna fire you because you lost this game. We've been so close. Hey, let me hire the guy who coaches the guy who had 4 turnovers. So I'm not a part of the fire crew, but it never makes sense for me if you're saying we're so close, I'm gonna hire a guy in the building.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Logically, it doesn't make sense. Joe Brady may do well,
Yeah,
but logically, it doesn't make sense. If I'm gonna fire the guy, I may keep Joe Brady as OC if the new head coach wants him, but if I want new leadership, I need new leadership. I don't need to appoint the guy that was a part of the quote unquote failure. So, yeah, man, it's a weird all season, bro.
yeah. I mean, to answer my own question, and I didn't want to spoil it because I really wanted your take. I too think, I think the Ravens are happy with their hire. I know some of y'all are gonna think that's sort of homerism, but I've seen plenty of tweets, takes, articles about that. If you were gonna go after a guy this cycle, I think Jesse Minter was top tier.
I was thinking Mentor if you want defense, Kubiak if you want an offense.
There you go.
When it started, those were my 2.
Yeah, and Clint Kubiak is still coaching Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl. So there you go. I'm wrong again.
And that's gonna be the new Raiders coach.
With Fernando, I actually might like that. So I like Jesse Minter. That's about the only one I do like. I mean, look, not to regurgitate what you said. I'm happy for Todd Monken. I got no beef with him. Great. He'll probably be out of there in 2 years, 3 max, because it's Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski in Atlanta. I don't know how much that changes. Maybe he brings more structure and some different offensive personnel that can really go with Michael Penix and his bummed out knees. Who knows? The defense is great. They have playmakers, but they don't have a quarterback. The Giants, John Harbaugh, cool. You overpaid for that. You're gonna regret it.
Yeah.
We talked about this ad nauseum. I don't know how good of a coach John Harbaugh is. I know he's not bad because, like I've said, bad coaches don't coach in championship title games. But also, I've seen him with a bunch of Hall of Famers and with the quarterback with a few seasons that have been some of the best quarterbacking seasons ever. Without that, I don't know how good he is. Jeff Hafley, he's just happy to be out of cold weather. Mike McCarthy, retread, who has always had really good quarterback play, whether it's Hall of Fame level with Aaron Rodgers or solid top-tier starting quarterback with Dak Prescott. Now you're going to get the remnants of Aaron Rodgers or what? Will Howard, I think, coming off IR. Like, good luck, bro. And then the one that's most shocking to me, you said this, but the Bills promoting Joe Brady. I want to explore and write about this and talk about this more in the offseason. I think they are underestimating how far left this can go. Because I've said this before, they are not a good organization. They have not been. The Pagulas are not good owners. You can look at what they've done with the Buffalo Sabres if you doubt that. They lucked up into good quarterback and good coach pairing. One thing I got to shout out the Cincinnati Bengals with is they're a terrible ownership group who will not spend money and who's cheap and have poor facilities. But that family knows that they hit the jackpot to no sort of credit of their own with Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow. And they're like, all right, we just going to keep dialing this back. Now, we're going to have some terrible seasons in between. But I'm confident at some point before the end of this decade, they'll get back to an AFC title game because they got a great coach and a good quarterback. The Bills have poor ownership. They've just gotten rid of the guy who I think is a great head coach. I'm looking forward to seeing him on TV and getting back into coaching in a year or so. And let's be real about your quarterback. I read somewhere where like one of the tensions between them was McDermott was real football coaching, discipline, prepare, do the little things right, showing up to execute, very much so a grown man in the building who holds people accountable. And Josh Allen is a little bit more of a bro, wants to make, crude and not safe for work jokes and all this other stuff. Okay, so you're pairing your psychotic quarterback who plays like a psychopath with a guy who's what, 30, 31?
Something like that.
And a division that was historically egregious and now has a grown man, one of the best coaches in the game over there. I'm just saying, like, the Buffalo thing has the opportunity, has the potential to go left. Because you got one of the, look, we talked about this. We're not going to regurgitate that. You got Josh Allen. We love Josh Allen. But if you don't have a guy that is strong enough and confident and courageous enough to reel Josh Allen in, what happens is what happened in Denver. Time to.
Yep.
And maybe Joe Brady is ready for that. Maybe he isn't. I will put a pin in that as something that we need to have a conversation about. If they suddenly go 8-9 or 7-10 next year, one, I would not be surprised, and two, we cannot say we didn't see this coming. I'm gonna leave that there.
Yeah, that's the most questionable one. I should say, like I said, I don't know. He may do well, but you still have the same quarterback, so you should be like somewhat in the same position. You're gonna win 10 or 11 games every year. But now you've allowed the Patriots to become better. Still have the Jets and the Dolphins that you probably don't have to worry about. But we've seen what home field advantage does.
Yeah, man.
Like, you want to be at home instead of on the road. Like, because they didn't win a game, they had to go to Jacksonville. They had to go to Denver. It's different when you're playing at home.
Yeah.
The weather could have been the same. It's just that home field is, it's just different. So we're going to see, man. Hopefully they know what they're doing. Well, for me, I hope they don't know what they're doing, but we'll see.
Two underrated hires. One, Brian Daboll, offensive coordinator in Tennessee. Love that hire for them. That should at least enable us to get a chance to see what Cam Ward actually has and at least stabilize things. Now, they are talent deficient. So that is the top.
I would have said hire him.
Yeah. He would have fit well there, I think. But that one. And then, again, I'll reiterate that this year is 94 and next year is 95. And so Lamar and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, whoever else, better go get it next year. Because the Chiefs finally got smart. We mentioned this earlier in that I don't know why Matt Nagy wasn't fired previously, but he was a terrible head coach. I've never thought he was a great offensive coordinator. So what do? They bring back Eric Bieniemy. You give Pat Mahomes a year to recover from that ACL.
You talked about it.
With Eric B., you better win it next year. Because they've wised up and the Chiefs are going to win it in 2027. Book it. It's a wrap.
It is what it is, man. I'm going to hate it and I'm going to be mad, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. 15 coming back. He's going to get at least one more. I don't know when. That's the NFL head coaching cycle. Get back to that. Last thing for today, real quick. How does a do you know how a football program racks up $400,000 in DoorDash fees?
I don't know, bro. I don't understand.
And what are you eating? Like, y'all can't have good nutrition.
Bro, you eat it. No, because you gotta add, if you're a good enough person, you're gonna tip. Okay. But with the fees in general, let's say you have the $9.99 DoorDash membership, whatever. It's still, bro, you gotta just add 10, plus the food is higher on DoorDash.
Yes.
So for me alone, if I go to Chili's, order me, the little bites, the burgers, bro, it's gonna cost me $25. And I'm not even sitting in and tipping, but yeah, that's one meal for $25. So that's crazy, bro. Nutrition gotta be awesome.
It's got to be awful. This is a story from, what is this? New Jersey Advanced Media, which, shout out to New Jersey. I'm going to leave that there. The athletic department for Rutgers had a record deficit of $78 million for the fiscal year 24-25. Now, granted, to be clear, a deficit is not the same as debt. And I'm not going to sit here and explain that.
Yeah.
You can YouTube a video or Google something that, explains that. Nonetheless, in total, the athletic program has $516.9 million deficit since it joined the Big Ten.
That's crazy.
Weren't these super conferences, wasn't the reason for messing up the regionality of the sport we love, money?
Yep.
If you're going to
Yep.
operate in the red, why did we blow this whole thing up to begin with?
Why did we ruin the sport? And teams around here are just operating in the red.
Like, it was at least supposed to be lucrative. If you're going to ruin the game we love, it was supposed to be lucrative. You got a whole athletic program running $500 million. I had to check myself. I'm like, that can't be real. $500 million deficit
$500 million, bro.
since joining the conference.
And some of that include not a lot of that, but some of that is DoorDash fees.
Almost $500,000 in DoorDash fees. What happened to the game?
That's crazy.
Hey, man, we're going to be back.
I wish I had $500,000.
We're going to be back next week with a full-blown Super Bowl preview. We did not hide the ball well there, but,
Yeah, we did.
some interesting matchups.
We have a preview, though.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the matchup. We'll be, we're not good. We're not going to be as good as NFL matchup, but we'll try our best.
Some interesting matchups. I like good stuff. Before we get off, because we will put the next episode up afterwards. Who's the MVP?
Oh, Stafford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Drake May?
They tried to sneak May in there. He didn't have enough great performances. And what I mean by great performance, you got to have really solid performances against good teams. Hey, man, I remember that game. Remember that throw he made on that 3rd and 9? Like, I don't remember a Drake made this season. I just remember the Patriots winning, if we've been honest.
That's real. I don't remember him actually doing anything spectacular.
That's what I'm saying. None.
Now, look, he did have some good games, some big games where he shot. But
Yeah,
you're right.
for sure.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm talking about moments. When you think about MVP, you think about moments and the total numbers.
Yeah.
So Stafford had the moments and the numbers. It's not even close.
He ain't got none of those.
Not even close.
I'm gonna go with Matt Stafford.
Yeah. Got to. It was a 2-man race, but
it was a 2-man. I wanted to find a way to make a compelling argument for Myles Garrett. But when you are as bad as that team overall is, I'm not sure that I can reason. Like, if I wanted to just create a hot take clip, I would say, "Oh, Myles Garrett's the MVP for." No, it's Matt Stafford. They ain't even really close.
Now, it's the difference between MVP and the best player in the league. Now, Myles Garrett had a very solid argument in being the best player in the league.
Maybe we should do
very solid.
They should do the MVP and MOP. I think how the Final Four does. Most valuable player and most outstanding. And if you win both, you just win both. Lamar Jackson would have won both last year in a world that is equitable and honest. Anyway, we don't gotta go there. That'll be great. We'll be back next week. Hey, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your homies who like football talk. And if you don't subscribe, I don't like you. And I want you to know that. We're going to do a little something here called the 2-minute drive to end each episode, where we just have a little commentary, a little parting shot, talk about a little bit of football. Mostly because I'm going to start timing now. Mostly because I'm always trying to contextualize. You know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you got a lot going on. Why do you spend a whole lot of time watching and reading and talking about football?" Um, and it's hard to explain, but I think like for most people, you know, football is just like a game. It's something you watch. You know, they don't
Yeah.
really have a concept of sort of what it
Mm.
is. And I think for me, you know, not to get all hyper emotional or nothing like that, but you know, I didn't really play football until I was in high school. I had dabbled in sort of, you know, pee wee grade school ball or whatever, but didn't really commit to until I was a freshman in high school. And man, I was, you know, weak, frail, undersized, just like out there, just getting obliterated. But you know, my home life wasn't the best, and you know, my parents had the best relationship, and I was carrying a lot, you know, when I was at home, and so every time, you know, before school, after practice, so on and so forth, there were these grown man responsibilities and expectations that awaited a teenager, a boy, to be honest. And it was sort of in that context, you know, between stuff with my parents and, you know, dealing with my brother and raising him and his disabilities that I discovered like football from a schematic standpoint, from a team standpoint, from a sort of strategy and camaraderie and what it can do and what it can build. And I remember like one of the times my freshman year in high school, you know, I actually had the headset on. I was on the sideline with the play sheet and I was just really getting a chance to hear the play calls and all that stuff. And it really changed my life and allowed me to fall in love with the game. I loved football beforehand, but once I was able to see it through that lens, from a coach's lens, from a schematic lens, it really changed my life and created an environment to where I had camaraderie and I could be seen, and where like hard work and dedication and commitment and perseverance would be rewarded equitably. Not that it would mean more plays, not that it would mean the most playing time, not that it would mean these types of stats and so on and so forth. Um, but that idea of showing up every day, being committed to something and sacrificing with a bunch of brothers, man, that thing is different. And that's what football is. I went over.
It's all good. You know what? I'm gonna try to get mine. Let's time it. I'm gonna put 2 minutes on the clock
There you go.
and just kind of see. Um, so Fred, you know, I'm gonna go a different, little, slightly different angle. Fred talked about, you know, his obsession, I guess, with the game. Um, and this is not like I'm not saying this in a bad way, but my obsession right now is kind of survival mode.
Mm,
I'm operating with an 8-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 5-month-old, and a 30-year-old. You know what a 30-year-old is? That's the, you know, the lady that runs everything. So people talk about, you know, work-life balance. But when you have a newborn, two other kids, job, responsibilities, there's no such thing as balance. It's really controlled chaos. And you kind of, you know, just learn to control it honestly. And just like when you just said about, you know, basically what the game gave you and taught you, football kind of like built me for this moment.
mm,
Because as a player, you got to adapt. As a coach, you definitely have to adapt. So it's kind of it's built me. It's built the version of me that's essentially prepared for everything, no matter what happens. I'm not just a dad. I'm trying to build a business. You know, I'm taking care of kids, trying to make my lady happy, trying to keep everybody happy at the same time. Also trying to chase a defensive coordinator headset. So there are mornings where, you know, getting kids ready for school, hard to say goodbye. I have to go to work, think about, you know, a job that, not saying I don't want to be in, but I'm trying to think about the next job that I do want to be in. You know, switching from coaching mode, like schematics, you know, the coaching and as far as training clients, switching from that mode to that mode, um, you know, dropping off and picking up the school, changing diapers, to, you know, emotional support from my lady. So it's a very tough mental load, you know,
mm,
physically tired, but you know, just like the High Rocks event I did a few months ago, this is an endurance sport. Life is an endurance sport. Being a dad is an endurance sport. Like all of these different titles we have, I feel like football literally groomed me for all of this. Like there's not a day that goes by that I'm not tired, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of that. But will you see it? Like
Hmm.
sometimes that's not a good thing. But I am built for well, football has taught me everything to compartmentalize everything and just get the job done. Find a way to get the job done and also find a way to support everybody else, you know, make people happy. Not saying my happiness isn't, you know, my top priority or we shouldn't be happy or anything like that, but football has taught me all of that. So you got to have a why. Why do I pile up all of this and stack all of these things on top of each other? Like just like my brand, I literally created Built Different You because I felt that I was built different.
Mm.
Because I'm doing all of these things and it's really not normal. I just don't talk about it. So
Yeah.
I don't grind because I got an extra time. You know, I don't grind because, you know, things are easy, but just coming home, looking at those faces, knowing that they're happy, that makes me happy. So yeah, man, it's been a grind. It's going to continue to be a grind. I'll never take it for granted, but this is life, and football has literally planted those seeds that has gotten me to this position. That was 4 minutes. My bad.
All good, man. That's a good word. You had 3
Yeah.
timeouts to use, so it's all
I-
good. Hey, hey, ball is life, man. If y'all
Ball
ain't
is
know.
life.
Hey, we said it before. We'll say it again. Appreciate y'all being here. Like and subscribe. This means so much more to us than just talking ball. It's life, legitimately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, we back next week with an in-depth preview of Super Bowl 60. And with the off season coming up, don't you worry, we ain't going nowhere. As a matter of fact, we got a bunch of stuff queued up. In-depth draft coverage, which will be fun because we haven't done that in quite some time. Free agency reactions, grades, position rankings. I actually kind of love the off-season discourses. We get a chance to
Yeah.
like go through and rank,
Hmm.
every position, rank historical quarterbacks, all that good stuff. So anyway, we just getting started, man. Ball is life and it don't stop. All right. Y'all be great. Enjoy your weekend. Catch you next week during Super Bowl week.
Yes,
Talk to
sir.
you soon.